Okay, I guess we're all set. Everybody on board? Ready to go? Okay, let's do it. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you're all doing well today. So today, my friends, let's not waste any time. Let's get to work. We don't have that much to do. So the first thing we're going to do, like every day, we're going to go over to the computer. We're going to check out very quickly what we did yesterday, and then we'll tackle our day from there. What we're basically going to do is just put some little shadowing on these little planets, and then we're going to put the first coat to the frame that's going to go around our painting. But first, let's see what we did yesterday. If I recall, it wasn't that complicated. All we did is put the first coat of this yellow, lemon yellow, on our little bubbles or planets, that I like to call them planets, just because I like astronomy and astrophysics and everything that has to do with space and the sky and stars and whatnot. So anyways, I was extremely surprised today because, first of all, I'm going to take out this little breath freshener I had in my mouth. Makes it hard to talk though. So the first thing I've often said on these paintings is that I always have to do two coats of paintings. Two coats because I want to hide the background, and I want to hide, of course, the brush strokes. So no matter what color I use, may it be cerulean blue, which is a blue that covers very well, or any other color, black or whatnot, I have to put two coats, except for this lemon yellow, which I never use. Of course, as you saw on that little video, day before yesterday, we put a white background, and then I put this yellow, lemon yellow, which again is a color that I barely use. I find it a little too electric for my taste. And I usually go with the golden yellow, which I love very much. And that's what our shading is going to be today. It's going to be in this golden yellow. So let's not waste any time. Let's just grab a little palette over here. There we go. Here's one. And I will just put a little bit of this golden yellow. We won't need that much. Let me make sure I don't have any little particles there. That should do it right there. And let's grab a brush. So I'm just going to add a big drop of water to this just to mix it in with our paint so it gets to be a nice creamy texture so it flows on the canvas the way we want it to. I'm just going to highlight a little side of these little bubbles just to give it a little shadowing, a little bit of depth. Makes them look a little richer, you know? Just makes them look so much nicer. So I'm going to do that, and yet I'm going to keep this nice and thick as well because, as you can imagine, I don't want to put two coats. So I want this to cover fairly nicely, which it should. There, and it's already ready. That was pretty quick. So, very good. So let me bring over camera and set camera number one up. Bring it a little closer because we'll be tackling the upper left-hand corner of our painting first. That's how I usually like to start off my paintings because I'm right-handed, and I kind of work my way down this way just to make sure that I don't put my hand in the wet paint. You know, if I started here, then afterwards I would put my hand in it and I would get my hand full of paint all over the place, which I seem to do anyways. So if we can reduce that kind of little bit of a problem, why not? So, got the camera all set, and I got the paintbrush, I think from yesterday, which should be the same paintbrush to do the little highlights that we want. So I'll get rid of this excess water on the brush, and we'll try this out. And if it turns out not to be the right kind of brush, well, we'll just switch brushes. I mean, these are the three things you always have to make sure you have right. I mean, to have a pleasant time painting, you need three things. You need your paint to be the right consistency, you need to have the right paintbrush, and you need to be in a position where you're comfortable painting. So if you can reunite all three of those things, basically it should be smooth sailing. So let's go to camera number 1. Let's start tackling our little shadows on these little bubbles of ours and see what this looks like. I've never done these colors before, so it's a little bit new for me as well. I just know that when it dries, it's probably going to get a little bit darker. Most paints have that tendency to darken when they dry. So, I've never used any of the colors that we're using in this painting. And I'm going to just zoom in, just bring the camera over. And just for the editing purposes of our stream, I am going to do a major zoom in right there. Just like that. And as you can see, this goes really pretty quickly. So let's just continue going around the painting, adding this beautiful golden yellow. Since I've never used these colors before, I'm not sure if you can actually see what I'm doing on the camera or not. That's why I zoomed in a few minutes ago, just in case you can't really tell. Let's just continue. There we go. Very good. Maybe I'll just zoom in a little bit more before I do this larger little planet. Just like that. And we can pull back. I'll come back over to the left-hand side here. Work our way on these little guys. No need to be sloppy. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to go down a little bit like this. Actually, I might grab my chair in a few seconds. As I said, important to be comfortable when you paint. So I guess that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just grab my chair over here, bring that baby over. Very nice. Bring this baby down some more. Maybe a little, oops, maybe a little zoom in like that. There we go. Now I could have tried doing these little planets in my golden yellow rather than this lemon yellow, but since I never used most of these colors before, the pinks, the turquoise green, turquoise blue, I figure why not use something totally different for these bubbles as well. And that's why I decided to go with the lemon yellow. Just because it's a color I never use and don't really like either. But I must say, on this particular situation, I don't think it looks too bad. So let me just move the camera over a little bit since we are going that way. And actually, I will even move my chair over and bring the camera over. There we go. And I'll go to camera number 2 for a few seconds, just for my editing purposes. Oh, look at that big baby. I forgot him. Very nice. All right, pretty coordinated today. That's pretty good. Usually I struggle a little bit, I have to warm up. But today seems like things are just falling into place, so why not? Let's go back to camera number 1. And then after this, I'm going to put the first coat of our frame, just like that. Well, I'll have time to dry so we can put the second coat on, and it'll give me a little bit of time to figure out what I'm going to be doing in these white areas of our painting here, the central pieces. I have a pretty good idea, and again, I'm going to be trying maybe something new, but we're not there yet. I usually make my decisions as I walk in the studio, just to have that element of that freedom of improvisation, because my paintings are so structured that sometimes it's kind of nice to just be able to take a decision at the last second. So, just step back, make sure I got everything. I guess I did. God, this painting sure looks a little weird for me. Not used to, really not used to these colors, I must admit. Okay, so I am going to do the frame in a dark, well, not dark really, a light medium size color purple, like this maybe. Since it's the first coat, I always have that flexibility of changing my mind and darkening or lightening the color for the second coat, which is the final coat. So that's where I have to be clear in my head what I'm going to be doing. So I got the palette, I got the paint, I got the knife, and all I have to do is just add maybe a little bit of white paint to this. So I guess we can do 2 big spoonfuls here, just like that. Clean off the brush. Don't want to get any purple paint in my white, screw up my white paint. So make sure this is nice and clean. That should do it. Just to be sure, give it another little rinsing. There we go. So, got that done. Let's get some white paint. Guess I'll put my breath mint back in my mouth. There we go. And maybe a scoop and a half of white paint to lighten the purple, and then we'll see what that looks like. And we'll do the final adjustment of the color to find the right hue tomorrow when we put on our second coat. There we go. So maybe I'll mix this paint on camera number 1. We can do this together. So let me bring the camera down here where I have a jar of water. And there you can see the dark purple, the white. So let's just blend all that in. Maybe if I switch cameras, that might help. There we go. So, oh well. Always have to think about these things. So we got our purple, our white. And let's just kind of blend the whole thing together. And we should come up with a beautiful little violet. I'm going to have to add quite a bit of water to this. It's extremely, extremely thick. You can see already what a beautiful color this is. And like I said, I'm going to add a lot of water. And actually, I'm going to switch brushes right away because I'm not going to paint with this tiny little brush. So I might as well do this mixing with a thicker brush. So let me get back over to camera number 2 here. As I pick the right brush that I'm going to be using. So, but I guess maybe I'll use this brush. Wet this brush up. And I'll come back to camera number 1 so we can mix this together again. There we go. And I am going to add even more water. There we go. Let's work all this. This looks a little bit too light. I think I was hoping for something a little bit darker. So I wonder if I should correct that right now by adding some more purple, or should I wait till tomorrow? And I think I might do that right now. Just add another little scoop of purple paint. So let me get back over here and grab my purple paint again. There we go. Purple paint, purple paint. Wasn't that a song by Prince? Okay, there we go. again, I can never do anything unless I clean off my knife right away. It's a habit. It's a good habit to have. And I'm going to keep doing it like that. I don't get distracted, which happens very easily, and then forget to do it and make a mess. But like that, I always have a clean knife that I can bounce to. So let's go back again to camera number 1. Let's check out the little bit of paint that we added. And let's work this in here now. This should make it a little bit darker. And still, if it's still too light, well, we'll adjust it tomorrow as we put down our second coat. But you can see already it's got quite a bit darker, more of what I was looking for initially, so that's pretty good. Let's just make sure all this is blended in nicely. There we go. That's a nice color right there, isn't it? And like I say, we'll see how it dries, because it does have a tendency to get darker when it dries. So maybe it'll just end up being the right color. In the meantime, let's go on up to our painting. Let me move the camera to the side so I'm not in front of the lens. And let's start on that upper left-hand corner, right about there. That should do it. And I'll start right off. Yeah, this is really dark. And as it dries, it'll probably get even darker, so it might be too dark. We'll see. Won't worry about that tomorrow. Like I said, we can always adjust it. Always adjust it as we go along with that second coat. There will be a little black border, so I don't know how it's going to look when it dries, but it sure is beautiful right there. Very nice color. Okay, let's be careful here. I'm a little sloppy. Okay, let's go down here where there's less of a reflection from the window. And let's just do first. come on now. There we go. Be good to Daddy here. Okay. Let's bring the camera over here and let's tackle our top right-hand side and work our way around. Just add a dab of water. Make sure the paint glides on nicely. Let's tackle the tough part. Okay, I think a little spilled over, but it doesn't matter. There we go. I know I'm off camera, but I'm continuing since I'm doing all this in one streak. There we go. Maybe I'll even zoom in a little bit just for the editing purposes of the movie. There we go. Very good. So let's come on back here to the left-hand side. All the way down here. Let's zoom out. There we go. And I'm going to grab my chair. There we go. And let's continue. There we go. And fortunately, I have that jar of water right next to me, which is pretty handy because I do need a little bit of water here. There we go. All right. So I'm having a hard time doing this right-hand side of my frame. Usually this is my favorite side that just kind of glides without any problems, but today it is giving me a hard time on this side and on the other side. That's the way it goes. Just have to be a little more careful and a little more patient, I guess. There we go. So let's come on down here. I'll just zoom in a little bit. There we go. All right. So far, so good for the top part. Very good. There we go. That's much better. Okay. Now let's just, I guess I'll bring this camera over for the last little segment right here. And let's switch to camera number 1. And the final few inches. There we go. There we go. Very good. So, let me bring the cameras back. Okay, so we're going to have to start thinking about these guys. then finishing the background, tackling the frame, and then theoretically we'll be all done. So, there we have it. There we have our painting and what we did today on camera number 2. And then camera number 1. And that's about it. So thank you, my friends, for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this session of painting. It was a quick 40 minutes, and I hope you'll join me. Tomorrow is Thursday. I do my stream in French, theoretically, but it's also my son's 18th birthday tomorrow. So I'm not sure if I'm going to, I know there's a party in the evening, so I might have to get ready for that. I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to be in the mood for streaming tomorrow. We'll see. So anyways, I'll let you all know tomorrow. You can check out Instagram. You'll know exactly what's going on. Or you can check out my Facebook page, whatever. So everything is in the description. You'll see that. So anyways, once again, thank you. And I'm going to leave you like I always do with 2 things. The first thing is my schedule. And the second thing is by saying, ciao mes amis.